The visit of the wise men. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the peoples, chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Jerusalem and said, Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. As many of you know, we have grandchildren, and children, obviously. So the story, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, has been on our viewing list recently. Dr. Seuss wrote the book years ago. As the story goes, in the town of Whoville, the Grinch hated seeing and hearing all the people celebrating Christmas. So he tries to figure out how to stop Christmas from coming to Whoville. The Grinch decides if he can steal all the presents, decorations, and special Christmas food, then he can stop Christmas. So he sneaks around Whoville the whole night, stealing from all the houses the gifts, decorations, and food. When the morning comes on Christmas, the Grinch is really shocked his plan did not work. Christmas still comes to Whoville. The people gather around, hold hands, and sing Christmas songs anyway. The people are still happy. The Grinch learns Christmas is more than just presents and decorations. In the story from Matthew, we see a Grinch. This story is of the Magi finding the Christ child. Can you imagine, I'm sure you've heard this before, if the three wise women replaced the three wise men, do you know what would have happened? They would have asked for directions, they'd have made it on time, they would have helped deliver the baby, cleaned the stable, made a casserole, brought practical gifts, and there would be peace on earth. We really don't know how many Magi there actually were. We do know there's three because of the gifts. We know that they were men of science, astronomers, highly educated, wealthy, upper class, and highly respected in their Gentile culture. They were not prone to faith in Jewish religion, being Gentiles. These men were virtually the exact opposite of the shepherds. In essence, they were seekers after the truth, visionaries, and spiritual. Then we have Herod. Herod the Great ruled from 37 to 4 BC. He was ruthless. He was no Jew. He was appointed by the Roman Senate. He murdered his wife, 3 sons, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, uncle, and many others. So it's no wonder he had no trouble killing babes in Bethlehem. He was noted for his splendor by constructing theaters, amphitheaters, monuments, pagan altars, and fortresses. His greatest work was rebuilding the temple in Jerusalem, which had begun in 20 BC and completed in 64 AD, only to be destroyed 6 years later by the Romans. Herod was power-hungry, self-absorbed, and ruthless. Then we have the chief priest and the teachers of the law. They were trained, educated in the details of Scripture, but spiritually ignorant. They knew the right answers, but did not possess the right heart. Jesus was the real king of the Jews, not Herod. So then we have the conflict. One of the conflicts is between Herod and the Magi. Herod tried to mask this conflict, but was really at odds with them. His true colors came out when the Magi didn't go back and tell him where the Messiah was. Between Herod and Jesus, Jesus was really the threat to Herod. He was the Messiah, the true king of the Jews. Herod was just an impostor. He was not entitled to the throne by heritage or divine choice either. There was a conflict between these two. The king of the Jews was to be God's representative, like God, in the line of David, both spiritually and physically. Herod is the opposite of God. He devalues life. He's pagan, murderous, self-centered, and probably more we don't even know about him. Herod is a Grinch-like character who seems to be in conflict with everyone around him. The chief priests, teachers of the law, can be like Grinch's little dog, Max. There is another Grinch in this story. It's sin. Keep this in your mind. So who is the real Grinch? Now back to the story and the journey of those characters. We will try and identify the real Grinch in the story and what motivations they had. All of them were on a journey. They all were seeking the meaning in life for something outside of themselves to put life in context. They were searching for something more than they had already. The desire to find was motivating them to do what they did. All were searching for meaning. This is also a picture of us today. A picture of all of us. You and me and all mankind. Within people, it is a desire to find meaning in life. There's a natural God-given quest to seek for something of substance outside ourselves. There's a battle between the God-given drive and the self-centered nature in all of us. Let's see how those characters dealt in their search. Herod believed the self was to be the focus point of life. It was to put yourself first. No one else will put you first. Look out for numero uno. Herod had an attitude, every man for himself. And his drive and seeking was motivated by self-preservation. Don't you see the same drive in some people today? Selfishness motivates people to do all kinds of things. The Grinch's self-motivation made him want to steal Christmas. The chief priests and teachers of the law believed the law and knowledge, which was the Torah, was paramount. Knowledge of the law was what you were to seek for everything centered on knowledge and learning. They debated the fine points of the law, formed groups, made and broke relationships based on their views of the law. Today, people still make knowledge paramount by errantly believing they can figure out everything and come up with all the answers. Just read the papers. listen to talk radio or TV. Everyone has the answers. The Grinch was also trying